Welcome to our channel, What's the Yak? I'm Phoenix and this is
Gigi.
And our channel is all about celebrity news, hot topics, and just everyday life. So let's get into it. What's yakking today, Gigi?
Okay, so
What's the yak?
we have a few things actually to yak about. We're gonna touch on a few points with the Jasmine Eiland. That's how you say her name.
Either Eiland or Island. I'm not really sure because I've heard it pronounced a couple of different ways.
That way. And we're gonna break that whole situation down. We're also gonna talk a little bit on the shutdown that's dealing with, what's going on in our community with the whole United States, really. And then we're gonna follow it with the Soulja Boy situation. So first, sis.
Soulja Boy? That's Soulja Boy.
Soulja, you.
Superman that, oh. Alright, so let's get into the Jasmine situation. If you haven't heard about this, you must have been on a rock somewhere. Because, it's just been trending all over the internet. Just everywhere.
Everywhere.
So, for those that's not familiar with the story, the Jasmine Eiland situation is where there was a young lady that went into a nightclub by herself for her birthday to have a good time. She met a gentleman at the club. They had drinks together, and towards the, middle of the night or sometime into them hanging out at the club, it appears that she was violated.
Violated how, sis? Elaborate just a little bit.
Well, it seemed to be some dance floor penetration going on.
Scandalous.
And not consensual from what we can see and from what she's saying.
Scandalous. Now,
super scandalous.
So I just want to kind of talk a little bit about it myself because I was sent the link and I watched it from beginning to the end of her doing all her little live situation and basically trying to turn up for her birthday. Now her being by herself, because some people have had something to say about her being by herself. I necessarily don't see anything wrong with it. No. I go out by myself all the time. If I can't find nobody to ride with me, hey,
I want to go. I'm still going.
I'm about to turn up, baby.
Right.
But at the same time, you gotta know what you're doing. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm by myself, I'm looking at everybody's side eye, baby. Okay.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I ain't got no earring on this ear. You keep the people informed while I go put this earring on.
So no. Well, in the event of her going out, she meets this gentleman while she's out. She meets a lot of people. She was friendly the whole night to a few different people. She gave compliments to girls. She danced on the dance floor. She came in. She's saying that she was only having one drink, and then the gentleman that she ended up with that night ended up convincing her to have some more drinks. So what I can see in the video, because I was not there, I can only go off of the speculations of what she was doing on live is what was going on.
Right.
The only situation I have, because I personally don't want to say that she was not raped or not violated in any type of way. I don't want to be that person. But everyone's opinion is different when it comes to, was she set up or not? I personally don't feel like she was. I personally feel like she had too many drinks. She was hanging out with that guy way too long if you was not feeling him. Because the whole night you like this one. And you're looking back
I definitely think she was feeling him because if you look at him and you look at her husband or ex-husband, I'm not really sure which one at this point, they almost look like the same guy. Like they're very similar.
She got a type, yak.
Okay.
So, I would say that she probably felt very comfortable with the gentleman because she stayed in his arms majority of the night, dancing, singing, rapping on him. It was just the whole thing.
Right, to the point where a lot of people were saying they thought they were together, that they were a couple, that they had come to the club together because they were literally linked up and didn't separate. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of things I want to go into it about. Well, when you were talking about the video that shows her being violated, there is, and I don't know if it was her video or it was another video because I've watched several different videos of this situation, but there is a point where he literally licks his hand. I'm gonna be honest.
Lick his hand?
Yeah, he licked his hand. He said,
"See that? Yak, go."
You hear me? Then he did the face. You know what I'm saying? He like, I was like, but just saying, he did. That's what he did. He did that like hey, like he was going up in something face. I'm just saying. Now if he didn't, I mean, maybe what his fingers was feeling felt good, but he did that. You know, y'all know that face.
So the video from her point of view, sis. I mean, how do you feel about the video from her point of view?
I'm gonna be honest. The video from her point of view, for me, can literally go either way. There was one part of her particular video that it looked as if she was passed out, and he kind of looked around, to see what was going on with her. And to me, it seemed like he looked around, see what she was going on with her, and then started kissing on her neck once he saw she was passed out. So that was why I was kind of like, oh, wait a minute, because, that was some vulture type activity. Okay, she's gone, finally she's passed out, so let me, test the waters a little bit, kiss her neck and see how she responds. If she doesn't respond, then I can go to the next point. If she does, then, okay, things ain't primed right. But then at the same time, he could have been like, okay, maybe if I kiss her on the neck, it'll wake her up. So just trying to get her attention and wake her up. For as, when the part where she's saying, help me, I've known people to get drunk and fall down, and they literally say, like, help me. It's not like, help me, he's breaking me, but like, help me get up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely see the duality in the video, where, why some people feel like he did it and why some people feel like he didn't do it. Now, the damaging part for me, for him, is not her video, but another video that is a different point of view, where it's obvious she's passed out. It's obvious she's not coherent. It's obvious she's not that person that you saw at the beginning of the video. So, excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, with that being said, like, so some people feel like she was drugged. That she was doing fine off of her drink, and then once he offered to get her a drink is when it all started going downhill. I also want to point out that some people just can't hold their alcohol.
Right.
So it may seem like he did something to the drink, because she did say, I don't really drink.
Right.
And she already had her one drink because she was there by herself and she was celebrating her birthday. She already had her one drink. She allowed him to convince her to have more to drink. Now, more to drink could do the exact same thing.
Right.
Of a person who doesn't drink, may look like somebody slipped or something. On another case, though, you got somebody saying that they saw her in the bathroom taking Percocets. So
right, and you got a couple of different things. There's the point of view of one lady saying, "Hey, she, seemed like it was consensual. She was rubbing on his peen, and he was rubbing on her privates. I never saw any penetration, but I definitely seen a lot of fondling on both ends. So they didn't seem like it was anything to be alarmed about. And then everybody was so up and roar. Everybody felt some type of way because she went up on stage after the situation happened and participated in a twerk contest.
Dropped it like it was hot, okay?
With no underclothes on and busted wide open to let everybody see what's in the middle of the cake.
And that situation right there in itself, like, okay.
Well, the girl was saying she had been doing that all night, so nobody didn't feel like, oh my gosh, she's on stage. They was like, they had been seeing her naked booty all night.
Yeah, that's not what I was saying. But if you have just been violated, I know if I just been violated, I'm not going on nobody's stage to bust it wide open for you again after you done seen me bust it wide open. I mean, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I'll say this.
You can't later on go back home and say, oh, yeah, he did something later after you don't bust it wide open.
Well, her brother said she was violated as I don't know if as a child or as a young adult she was violated.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband insinuated that he beat her.
Mm-hmm.
They said that there's video out of her and her husband joking about him, like, oh, I just raped you, I raped your ass again like I did yesterday, something to that extent.
Wow.
Now, I've heard people joke like that before. And so that doesn't really mean necessarily to me that the husband raped her. It could have just been,
I took that.
insinuate. I mean, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, just, I mean, I know you don't joke. There's no way to joke about rape.
No.
Or being violating a person. There's no way to joke about that. But people say stupidness like that all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get people saying stupid things, but I don't get a person reacting a certain way if they were violated. If you're violated by somebody and it was not of your consent, it made you say, because, okay, we looked at one point of view of her saying, help me, because she was falling down and feeling incoherent because of whatever was going on with the drinks, or if the drinks were spiked, or if it was a mixture between the Percocets and the drink. But anyway, she was going down saying, help me, but then later on get on the stage and bust it wide open. Like, those two different situations. If I'm getting violated, once he's finished, I'm leaving the club to go to the police or go home.
Well, see, I understand that, but everybody processes things differently. You know what I mean? If she's used to being violated, maybe her defense mechanism is to just act like it didn't happen and keep it moving.
You can't act like it didn't happen and then go to posting and calling out every situation. Then, like, that process doesn't make any sense. You cannot be in the club, turned up after the situation, and then go home and say, I was violated, and want somebody to take you serious. Because everybody was in the club to see you. You have a whole bunch of eyewitnesses to say, well, if he did violate her, if he did, then why did she go and do this? We all saw you do it.
I mean, I'm not saying, like, I agree. It doesn't, on the surface, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I also understand that people go through things and they may respond in a way that doesn't make sense to people. Yeah, I'm sorry, you got a hair in your eye. No, it's about to go in your eye. It's like on your eyeball.
Is it still there?
I don't know. You blinked it away. You blinked it somewhere. But anyway, everybody handles situations differently, though. And so we can't say because the person handled the situation in a way that I wouldn't have handled it, that I don't believe that happened to them.
It's hard for me to believe is all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say it did not, and I'm not going to say that it did. It's still up in the air because it's just too much inconsistency for me.
I agree.
For me to wholeheartedly say that this happened completely and it's
no. For me, it's not set in stone. Like, from moment to moment, day to day, more information I get, my view changed. Like, one day I believe her, the next day I believe him. One day I believe her, the next day I believe him. You know what I mean?
I do think that something happened. I do believe that something happened. Do I feel like,
right,
is what she's saying or what he's saying is up in the air, but I do feel like something happened. You can look clearly and see that something was going on, regardless if it was
something was going on. In fact, he did this right here.
Yeah, yeah. Regardless if
he
so
fingered or something. He touched
he did something.
He did something.
And for a brief second, she liked it because you saw.
Yeah,
she liked it for a brief second. I think she came to like, wait a minute.
Oh, I'm on dance floor.
Wait a minute, I'm live right now.
And guys, we're not making fun of her. I'm sorry, but I just act out stuff. My bad. Not to make light of the situation.
Not, because at the end of the day, it is a real situation, and so much real that she decided that she wanted to take her life. So that is not a laughing factor, like anything that needs to be laughed about. But just from hindsight of the whole situation, it do have the funny points that it's just not.
Absolutely.
It's just not can be explained. Like if you think about it, be like, okay, yeah, something had to be going on in her head mentally for her.
Right. I mean, when you look at it, you got the full picture of, she's from a different state, and she actually was at the club by herself when the violation happened, but she wasn't at the club by herself the entire night because it was another young lady from her hometown that was coming to the club.
Got there a little bit later.
Right. So you got, her being in the mindset, this is my birthday, I'm separating from my dude, I'm going down to enjoy myself. If she was violated, she gets violated. Maybe she's afraid to leave the club by herself, but she knows that the other girl's coming.
Her
not
get on that stage and bust it wide open. But
that right there,
I might have stayed in the corner somewhere waiting on that friend, but I would not got up on the stage because it's just my birthday.
And still tagging along with him the whole time.
And that's what I'm saying.
Still tagging along with him
and that's
the whole
what I'm
time.
saying. So, my view of it just continues to change. And at this point, I'm sorry to say it, but, it looks like you're kind of screaming for attention at this point. Because...
Now, what about the other girls coming up and saying, hey, he did this to me, too? Like, I went on a date. Like, one particular girl said she went on a date with him. They had a good time, good conversation. She invited him in so that they can, I guess, continue talking and whatnot. She just remembered waking up in the morning and she had a cut in her underwear. She called him and said, hey, what happened? Because I have a slit in my underwear. What did you do to me? He was like, what are you talking about? You tripping? I didn't do nothing to you. Blase, blase. She said she briefly remembers him, like, taking something out of his mouth and flushing it or whatever.
I mean, this is how I feel about the situation. I don't know what's real and what's not, but if that's the case, again, I feel like women need to step up more because we're allowing a lot of things to happen to us when we shouldn't. So if these things are happening, please don't wait until it happens to someone else to say, oh, he did it to me too, because this Me Too movement is starting to get very tainted with people who ain't really going through anything. So I feel like the moment that something happens, we need to speak up more because we're allowing these guys to get away with being that person, and it happens to more of us because we're not speaking up when we should be speaking up. At least if nothing comes about your situation, at least it's in black and white to say that it has happened. So when it does happen to the next person, they can take more action because it shows on black and white that he's done it in the past. Versus just not saying anything and waiting for a moment to say, oh, it happened to me too. Now nobody wants to believe the whole situation, period.
I agree. But also, it's not always that easy.
It's not always that easy, and for some reason, we're looked at as the person who is the violator when we were the one that was violated. Mm-hmm. So we have to change that. You know what I'm saying? It has to be changed.
I think the change comes from really women believing women first, because a lot of women don't believe women.
And I understand that to be true. I don't know why we do that. I would have believed this whole situation from the beginning to the end had not all the other stuff was going on with the twerking and her still sticking with him. And, if it had happened and you felt violated, then you need to show that you violated, point blank. I don't care if you did not have on panties. I don't care if you were naked. He does not have the right to do anything unless you allow him to. Right. So after he's done all those things to you and you stick around with him, that makes it questionable. It makes it questionable for me. Really and that's when females start to not take your side, because we're looking like, if it was me being violated, I wouldn't stick with my violator. Like, what?
Right, that part, I'm going to be honest, like, the fact that she stuck around him at least 2 hours after the situation happened, definitely makes it questionable. However, if she was drugged, maybe she didn't, reasonableness just didn't.
So do you feel like because she was drugged that she was doing things that she wouldn't normally do, is what you're saying?
I think her being drugged, maybe she didn't. I don't know. That's a hard question for me, because I do I feel like when you are under the influence of something, all those things that you want to do in your head, but you know you shouldn't do, that it kind of flies out the window. You know, that I shouldn't do this part kind of flies out the window, and you just going off action.
I mean, that could be the case, because she could look back at the whole situation and say, I don't remember none of that.
Right. You understand? Like,
this happened because of him spiking my drink or something. So that could
and maybe
be
she didn't.
a theory.
Right. Maybe in the moment she didn't realize it, or
Yeah, it was just.
And then, but I don't know. Then there's another part. Like I said, I go back and forth with believing it and not believing it, because there's another part where they're obviously somewhere in the dark, and she's, you don't hear anything for a while, and then you hear like stop, and then you do hear him say, "Okay, baby, I'll stop." So I kind of like, well, damn, he called the baby, but
and he said I stopped. So
right, so that kind of made me feel like, okay, if nobody's around and she says stop, and he says, okay, I'll stop, how much more so that if you really heard her say help me, or if there was a help me situation in front of all these people,
and then on top of that,
stopped if she didn't want it.
And here's my thing: if this is truly the case, and this is truly what happened, he's a bold motherfucker. Okay,
well, listen,
because
he's done something a couple of times before.
Not just that, but you all cross lines though. The whole time you right there in the camera with her.
Okay,
and here it is. She's bent over with the camera, still looking at you, looking at her, and he goes ahead and do it. He probably felt comfortable, like she wanted it, because
well, she did. She was like,
I'm just saying, like, so it may, again, I feel like it may not have even been a drugging situation. He just felt like she was loose. She wanted it.
And then there's the question of, he was drinking as well. Mm-hmm. So who's to say that his thought process or ability to make proper decisions were not altered. Affected as well.
Again, we don't know the whole story.
To say that he would have normally did that on the dance floor.
That's one of the first place. That's why I said, because it's just, to me, it's just too many loose end factors. I don't know. I mean, you could have somebody who's that bold to do it and don't give a care about it.
I know a whole lot, not a whole lot, but I know, I said that like I got a whole crew.
I'm going to say, whoa!
No, but
Mind me not to go out with her friends.
Yeah, you is my friend. But
I am. I'm just saying, when that group of people say, whoa.
But I know people. I've met guys, several guys, throughout my life that have tried to talk me into doing some old bullshit like that. Like, one guy we was at like an adult video porn store or some like that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, I had like a long skirt on. He was like, lift your skirt up and let's do it like in the aisle of the video store. I was like, really? You really just right here? You just want me to put my skirt up right here? He's like, yeah. And he was like,
but that's a consensual thing.
No.
Well, hold on, that's a consensual thing.
What I'm saying is there's a lot of people that would normally do like.
Well, I wasn't even talking about open room stuff.
Oh, just the violation.
Violation in public where everybody.
But I don't think people would have thought she consented to it. She couldn't respond. She was out of it, so she couldn't respond and say, "Hey, I don't want to do this."
I don't know. I want to, like I said, I want to have her side in this, but it's just too many moving parts to not completely have her side. Now, if this has happened to you, I'm sorry that it happened to you, and I really wish, your recovery. I hope you can get past this, because being raped is one thing, but being raped and humiliated now going forward is going to be a whole nother bag on your back. So
that's true.
Sorry about that. All right, sis.
So, guys, definitely want you to like,
comment,
share, subscribe. She's like, yeah, whatever.
No, subscribe for real. We need you.
So, definitely want you guys to like, subscribe, and comment, and share. So, all right. Thanks for yakking with us today. And we'll see you guys Wednesday.